I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. They said it wasn't possible for me. Then I was a 300-pound kid who said I wanted to be a Nike athlete. Does that even make sense? I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and they thought it was over for me, but I'm here. I'm on a winning streak! I'm on a winning streak! Let's go!
When I was 8, I had this dream. I always wanted to be a Nike athlete, but I was a chubby kid. It didn't matter to society what I was passionate about. It only mattered what I could realistically accomplish.
I'm 305 pounds, so insecure that I wouldn't even want to go out to the club. I would be afraid of everything. My first thought in the morning was fear to look in the mirror. My second thought was fear of my first meal. See, I was addicted to food. I would have to deal with it every single day. I would eat so much. I would eat 10,000, 15,000 calories in a day, and I would wake up the next morning and my skin would be bruised because I would expand so much. And then I would just binge so much to make myself so sick that I didn't even want to do it again. And that's when I went back. I went back to my childhood dream because what society told me to do, be a businessman, it meant nothing to me when I was looking at death. What did I want to do? I'm 28 years old, 300 pounds, diagnosed with a brain tumor, and I'm going to my business partners, and I'm going to my mom, and I'm saying, I want to retire. What do you mean you want to retire? I said, I want to be an athlete. I have to do it. Like, how you going to make money? I said, it's not about the money. I've got to do this for me. I said, I'll figure all that out. I said, well, how you going to do it? I said, I'm going to do an Ironman in New Zealand. Thought I was crazy. How are you going to do an Ironman? That's like the most difficult thing in the world to do. It's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then run a full marathon? 26.2 miles? I said, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do it in 10 months. And I walked away from my business.
So I just started running. I started running around the block. Then I ran a little further. In a year's time, I lost 125 pounds and started reversing my brain tumor. Building momentum for an Ironman in New Zealand. That was the contract I made for myself. So I got on a plane with my best friend Scott, and we set out to become Ironmen. But deep inside, I was afraid I wouldn't finish. I mean, how could a guy like me be an Ironman? I've always been the underdog. So it's race day. Scott and I, just two common guys surrounded by elite athletes, and we're dancing down the starting line. We hop in the water for our swim, and honestly, it was easy. It felt like we could see the finish line from here. We transitioned into the bike ride, and the fans were going crazy. I think they were cheering me on because, well, I was one of them, the common man. New Zealand, beautiful roaring hills, but those same roaring hills broke our bodies down. 12 hours into the race, and we're almost in last place. The Ironman's race director got afraid we're not going to finish.
Steve from Ironman, how you doing? Whereabouts are you guys? You're gonna need to get behind him. You have to give him a bit of a push. So if you guys can get a word to him, the cutoff is 5:30, and he needs to be out on the road by 5:30.
I was scared. I left my company, changed my entire life. Everything was in jeopardy. I was throwing up, and my digestive system was shutting down. It hurt to even high-five the supporters. We were minutes away from disqualification. Everything was crashing down on me. Everything. My promise I made to myself, to everyone who believed in me. When you're at that wall, sometimes that wall isn't just in front of you. You're surrounded by the wall. I couldn't go over, I couldn't go through, and I couldn't go around. I had to dig deep. I picked myself up, fighting disqualification. And there it was, the finish line to an entire chapter of my life. This wasn't about 140 miles. This was about the contract I made to myself. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I still to this day get scared to chase my dreams. But I knew that if I was gonna become a Nike athlete, I needed to do more. I needed to inspire people the same way Nike inspired me.
I wanted to do something that very few people on this earth have ever done. Bike across America from Los Angeles to New York, and to help people along the way. I wanted to do it with my best friend Scott. I was scared, and so was he. Neither of us really knew what we were doing or what we were getting ourselves into. We wanted to be the inspiration for others to say, if they can do it, so can I.
That is Charlie Jabaley.
Charlie Jabaley.
This is Charlie. Good morning to you, Charlie.
Good morning.
Take a look at this man's transformation right here. Went from that to that.
Everywhere we go, we're looking for people who have dreams and how we can help them.
And then he heard about Siona.
By the dumpster, Charlie Jabaley popped up with balloons, surprising Sienna Bryn with the gift that is a dream come true, her own car.
We all know that paying a mortgage weighs heavy on anyone's shoulders. Imagine having to do so while you're battling breast cancer.
Guys, this is Charlie. Remember him from the 6 o'clock hour.
We are completely paying off your mortgage.
I want to introduce you
To the dream machine.
I'm going to wrap it in a blank canvas, have everybody across the country write their dreams on it.
We started to realize that your actions and identity become your dream, and your dream starts to become you. To quote the late JFK, we didn't do it because it was easy, but because it was hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
I gave myself a superhero name. I recommend this to every single person in this room. If you want to do something, create an identity for yourself, give yourself a name. It's like what rappers do. They give themselves a name. Or like wrestlers, like The Rock. I'm gonna be The Rock. What's your name? It doesn't matter what your name is. You know, like, it's fun. It's like this identity that he took on. I said, I'm gonna be CEO Charlie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm a deaf.